The Wizards get burned by the Heat, 106-90 in Miami. The defense stayed at home, stayed on the bus, stayed at the airport, did not show up. So we're going to recap the game and do what we always do. Chop it up with you guys at the end. Rock with your boys tonight. Next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Your favorite podcast now has a newsletter, introducing the Locked On Wizards Daily Newsletter, a one-stop for the ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. And start your day with all new free Locked On Wizards newsletter. Again, everybody, it's your boy Brandon Scott, or BScott, that is, with my guy AB. And the Washington Wizards tonight, their shot just did not drop. And the defense was atrocious, man. Transition defense was an issue. Perimeter defense was an issue. Interior defense was an issue. So, like I said, we're going to recap the game, and then we're going to look at Kyshawn George and Rashawn Holmes, and then get into comments like we always do. So, again, shout out to everybody for rocking with your boys tonight. Washington Wizards get burned by the Heat, AB, 106-90. So, in your eyes, was the defense, or what other factors contributed to this loss tonight, man?
Yeah, defensively, just the Wizards just weren't there tonight, and scoring 12 points in the second quarter really doesn't help you either. But again, just some nights shots aren't going to fall, and that was the tale of tonight for the Wizards.
No, I agree 100%. The defense, perimeter was an issue, man. The perimeter defense was an issue. Last time I checked, they shot 35% from three tonight, 47% for the field. So, perimeter, our perimeter defense has been an issue all year long. So it's definitely one area you definitely want to see some progression in the offseason heading into next year. Interior defense. Rashawn Holmes, man, you can't take away from the fact that he is a dog. He brings energy. He brings leadership. He brings experience. These guys just plays with a chip on their shoulder. But there's times where he can't be undersized in the show because interior defense does take a hit. I think if you really want to nitpick when it comes to Rashawn Holmes, I'm a big fan of him. And like I said, since he's come over to the Wizards, man, from Dallas, man, I've become a big fan of him because he's an energy guy. He's a guy who definitely, has the energy that a lot of these young guys kind of feed off of, man. But it at times can be the detriment of interior defense, even though he definitely brings that energy. Tonight, interior defense was an issue. Transition defense, they continue to take their time getting back and setting up the defense, man. In Miami, look, they had more energy tonight. So let's look at the Heat, the bench points, man. I felt like this was a winnable game because not only if you look at the interior, Bam Adebayo, he's going to get his, man. 19 points, 15 rebounds, got a block. But then look at Bam, man. He's in a similar mode, man. He's an undersized center, in most matchups in the league, but he's an energy guy. He's a guy who, brings the energy. He's a dog in the paint, and he was that one factor. The backcourt, another reason where I thought that this was an exploitable matchup. And nothing against Terry Rozier or Tyler Hero, but they were the better backcourt tonight. Tonight, the shot just did not drop for us, man. Yeah, defense was the biggest emphasis tonight. AB was the biggest issue, but the shot just did not drop tonight. Look at some shooting numbers real quick, especially the starting five. Bob Carrington, 5 for 15 for the field. Bilal Coulibaly, not his best night, mostly a defensive night. Just was a non-factor tonight. And I actually expected a big game to be cool. So definitely want to see him bounce back home on Wednesday against the Utah Jazz, man. But looking at some other shooting numbers, 4 for 14 by Kyshawn George, especially 2 for 8 from 3 from Kyshawn George. Let me say this, man. He caught an elbow by Bam Adebayo, so hopefully he's all right, man. He left the game early due to a jaw contusion. He had a brain fart there. So jaw contusion. So like I said, I don't think it was on purpose by Bam Adebayo, but like I said, Bam is a bigger guy. So you catch one in the jaw by Bam, man, you're going to feel it for a little bit. But not a good shooting night. Alex Sarr, 3 for 12. Let me say this about Alex Sarr. I stand by my vision of him as being a potential star in this league, man. I think he could be a good player. But he's got things to work on. Very, very raw. And like I said earlier this year, man, it really hitting into the season, I said that the first area that you're going to see is rim protection. You did not see that tonight. And he has regressed a little bit. I don't know if that has to do with, the ankle injury not being 100%, but we missed that interior defense, and Sarr was in the lineup. The interior was wide open. It was hard to watch at times, AB, because the Miami Heat just practically just rolled through the lane. And Alex Sarr, I don't think he's 100% AB. And you get to a point where if you're not going to be effective, set him. I mean, if you know, because look, I've gone through ankle injuries. I'm sure you have, AB. You know, we both played ball. Um, and the ankle injuries were the one part that the reason why I don't play the ball anymore. You know, I stopped playing when I was in the Army, man, because I kept hurting my ankle all the time, man. And if you continue to play on an ankle injury, it's just going to get worse. You know, you have to rest, you have to sit down. And at what point do you sit him? You know, we're in the last full month of the season, so I mean, let's get and then look, set him because he's just not. He doesn't have the impact like he did before. He is too reliant on that jump shot, and even like I said, I will give credit where it's due. He has tried to score in the paint and get more active in the paint, but he's got to have that touch. He's shooting the ball too hard, man. So looking at Alex R real quick, AB. I mean, do you share the sentiments, or do you? What's the problem? And do you think that it's time to sit him down?
Yeah, no, definitely, I agree with you. B. If you see a common theme of him just not looking 100%, I just don't see any point of rushing him because, again, this is his first year. He's a rookie, and if you're adding more insult to injury by just keep playing him, and especially since we're not a competitive team, we're not going to the playoffs. You know, clearly obvious. There's really no point. It's just like in the future, like you don't want to. Like, this could cause for concern for the rest of his career, and we've seen it with big men. I mean, look at just Joel Embiid; he's out for the year. I mean, he's featured in Philadelphia, so it's like ankle injury, especially for the center, the biggest player on the court. Like you got to be careful with that. If you're the Wizards, you just have to be cautious. You don't want to rush him, especially since we have so much expectations for him. And Alex Sarr, I mean, again, from those summer league games bouncing back to now, like it's been a huge improvement. But at the end of the day, like if he's not 100%, there is really no reason to risk him going out there and being injured.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You know, it's the we're not playing for anything. Like you said, we're not a playoff team. So ankle injury, you got to rest him because he's not 100%. You know, like I said, I believe like last week when I was at a practice facility, you saw him walking around, but it was for pictures, man. Like he wasn't putting any kind of work in, man. Like you could tell that he's kind of gingerly with the ankle injury. Like I said, I'm somebody who that's what undid me as far as playing ball, man. I've suffered through so many ankle injuries where now I kind of freak my wife out because I can kind of pop it and make noises with it. I mean, look, you can't mess around with ankle injuries, man. You know, you got to get to a point where you have to consider sitting him down. But like I said, the defense continues to be an issue, and I think we have the personnel to defend, and it's just Jekyll and Hyde. You have to find a level of consistency on defense, man. There's nights where this team you see the fight. We mentioned it before the broadcast. They scored what quarter was it there where they scored 12 points? I believe is what the second quarter.
The second quarter, yeah.
Second quarter, man, they scored 12 points. Like that is just they took themselves out of the game. And you saw there's glimpses where there was some fight. But once you get in that hole, man, where you're down by 20-some points, especially in the first half, very often not, especially for a team that's young and inexperienced as Wizards, man, even though we do have that veteran leadership, we're still a very inexperienced team. That's too much of a hole to dig yourself out of. And there's times where there's a frustration. Like Coach BK was very frustrating. Like Chris Middleton tried to rally the troops, man, and said, look, we need to really double down on defense. And I think that, again, these veterans and Marcus Smart and Chris Middleton are going to be great for this team, man, going forward because they're trying to rally these guys. They're trying to work with these guys, and that's what you want to see as far as veteran leadership and veteran experience. So Chris Middleton is trying to get them into the fight, man, but the hole just ended up being too big. Even when we tried to rally back in the second half, it was too much because we got to within, I believe, 8, and I'm just like, man, we're right there. And then we kept giving up high percentage shots for the other team. Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier is a Wizards killer. I mean,
oh my goodness. When it comes to Wizards killers, be top 5, even top 3. I mean, from Boston to Charlotte to Miami. Like this dude, like if you're a bet, I'm not a betting man, but anytime he plays against the Wizards, just bet the freaking over, man.
I'm telling you, man, anytime Terry Rozier plays the Wizards, man, you like AB said, you bet the over because he plays as hard whether it's in a Hornets uniform or in a Heat uniform, man. He always puts up big numbers against the Wizards, and he did it again tonight, man. They were solid. So, I mean, you had Duncan Hayward putting up. I mean, he was playing in the paint. That dude was exclusively a shooter. So when you're dropping, points to Duncan Hayward in the paint,
I think you mean Duncan Robinson.
Oh, Duncan Robinson, my bad. Duncan Hayward, man. Look, that's a character in the Last of the Mohicans, man. So my bad. It tells you where I'm at as far as movies. Duncan Robinson, my bad. I'm a movie head. I'm a history man. So, like I said, Duncan Robinson, if he's dropping points in the paint on you, that is a clear indicator that interior defense is a issue, man. So, like I said, looking at his number, 17 points tonight. And he had 7 3-point attempts, but he had 13 overall. So he was active in the paint, man. So, like I said, defense stayed at home. This was a terrible defensive game. And that was the biggest factor. And the shot just did not drop for the Wiz Kids. And real quick before we move on, AB, I mentioned the bench points. I mean, their bench stepped up. Larson and Robinson, man. 17 points by Robinson, Duncan Robinson, and then 16 points by Larson. I mean, that's the tail of the tape. Because, I kind of mentioned before the game, Kyle Anderson's, shot, nothing against Kyle Anderson, but he's not going to scare nobody. I mean, he's probably got the slowest game in the game. So, I mean, it came down to those two players. And if you look at our second unit, I mean, Champagny, 22 minutes, 7 points, 8 rebounds. He stepped in, stepped up slightly, even though the shooting numbers weren't there, but 8 rebounds. You love the effort from Champagny. Corey Kispert, underwhelming. Rashawn Holmes, 20 minutes, 7 points, but 8 rebounds. And then Marcus Smart, his shot just didn't drop. So we lived and died on the perimeter. And that's what it comes down to, man. Our shot didn't drop and their shot did at a high percentage. So that's what it comes down to. So we already mentioned Rashawn Holmes. We're going to talk a little bit about him real quick. And then Kyshawn George about, could he be that point forward of the future? Does he remind us of a former Wizard? He reminds me of a former Wizard. So we're going to talk about that and then get into comments. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by DoorDash. NBA fans, get ready. They swish, you save. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more points in the game, you score a huge deal the next day. It's simple. When a player scores 50 or more points in a game during the 2024 and 2025 NBA regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. I say it all the time, guys. You tired from work? You don't feel like cooking? Go with DoorDash. Smoking, drinking, don't want to leave the house? Order DoorDash. I mean, look, game day feast. After an epic 50-point performance, celebrate by ordering wings, pizza, or burgers from your favorite spot, delivered right to your front door. Late night cravings, lunch on the go, fueling your watch party. So many reasons to get in on action with DoorDash, man. And then definitely recommend signing up for Dash Pass and be ready to save, because when a player scores 50 more points in the game, again, guys, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have at active Dash Pass membership. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. All right, AB, let's get back into this thing. So a couple players I kind of want to talk about real quick, man. Number one, Rashawn Holmes. It's kind of a two-part question. Let me get that out now. So Rashawn Holmes, man, the energy, AB, the energy. He plays with a chip on his shoulder, man. And he knows, we all know he can be an undersized center, but he makes up for that with energy and toughness. Now, he will be an expiring contract next year. So, number one, how impressed have you been with Rashawn Holmes, man, and what he's provided, especially when, inconsistency with Alex Sarr and Tristan Vucevic still stepping up in minutes, man? And do you see him as a guy who could be, on the trade market in the offseason?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm very impressed because, again, you lose Jonas Valanciunas, the big man who here was making quite the impact early on just the first half of the season. And Rashawn Holmes, like tenacity, that's what we love. It's kind of interesting because we say that he has that dog mentality and he's undersized. And then we talk about Alex Sarr, who at times can get shy about being aggressive. So it's kind of an interesting situation. But I've been so impressed by him because at the end of the day, he's making the best of a situation. He clearly could, just say, "Oh, I'm a veteran. Why the heck am I here? These guys are young. Like, why should I play hard?" But at the end of the day, a 10-win Wizards team, I'm still going to go out there. I'm still going to be a dog. Now, that's going to be interesting to see because now you have Tristan Vucevic, you have Alex Sarr, and maybe they bring in someone in the offseason. I don't know, but I definitely wouldn't mind. Now, if it's a common problem that we've seen throughout at least the end of this season, that as size is just getting picked on, and just as much as the dog fight matters, the size of the dog really does come down to it at the end of the day. So I don't know. I would like to have him back. He'd be a great mentor for these young guys here. So it's going to be a very interesting situation to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I agree, AB. If they decide to play him through his contract, I have no problem with that because, like I said, he's obviously not a long-term piece, but he's very vital to what this team is doing. He's been a great mentor. But looking at the center position, I'll say this. I do definitely think we add another center, and I definitely think we add another center in the draft. I do like me some Tristan Vucevic. Alex Sarr, I still think is going to be a good player in this league, but he's got work to do. And he's got to find some aggression. He's got to find some toughness. He cannot rely on that jump shot so much. And he's got to find, a nice touch in the inside, man. The shot is too hard, man. You kind of saw that tonight, man, where he's got to find that touch in the paint. And I think when he does, man, we're going to be cooking with some hot grease, man. But Danny Wolf out of Michigan is a guy that I'm looking at with the second first round pick in his draft coming up. His name, he's a guy who a lot of people are comparing him to Nikola Jokic. I mean, he's a guy who is a guard in a center's body. So and he's a 7-footer who can stretch the floor. So I would definitely look to add another center in the draft, man, and compete with Vucevic, because here's the thing. Nothing's earned. I mean, look. All right, AB, we got 5 draft picks already, right? Now, next year, we have 2. Year after that, 2. You can't pay everybody. You cannot pay every one of these young guys. And unfortunately, over the course of the next couple of seasons, we're going to be looking at who is and who isn't part of the future. Let's be real. I love all the guys we have, man, but unfortunately, you're not going to be. And while I do believe that for this team to want to get to where we want to get, Ted Leonsis is going to have to pay the luxury tax, man. If he really wants to build us into a championship contender, man, he's going to have to pay a little bit. He's going to have to pay to play, baby. But saying that you cannot pay for everybody, especially you look the fact that you got 3 guys in this previous draft, are they going to be willing to break the bank for 3 guys? That's what I'm saying. So, that's kind of where I'm at, man. A lot of hard decisions coming up, but nothing kind of gets back to my point. Nothing's given. You still have to earn this. And I like Tristan Vucevic. I think he's a baller. I think he could definitely be the backup center of the future, man. But here's the thing, even if you add a guy like Danny Wolf, that's not to say that Vucevic is not part of the future, because he's versatile. He played a 4. You know what I mean? And so I definitely think you bring some competition in, but you bring another 7-footer, man. And that's the guy I'm looking at with the second first round pick in the this upcoming draft. So mentioned already, Kyshawn George, man. Again, hopefully he's back to 100%, man. You catch your elbow in the jaw, man. Like I said, hey, man, at least he ain't get a glass jaw. I'm just saying, man. Like, he caught it, and like I said, he went down, but he didn't drop. He caught that elbow, and he took it like a G, man. So, like I said, this team's tough. I like what I see from Kyshawn George. Now, it's kind of the same with Alex Sarr, AB, the 3-point shot. While he can be a sniper, he is too reliant on that shot, man. I mean, he really relies on that 3-point shot. And, like I said, in media day, he said, look, I look at myself as a guard at 6'8". And then when the very same day I did the Jordan Poole interview, we were able to do media availability with him and Vucevic, man. And he said it. I asked Kyshawn George straight up. I said, look, at 6'8", you still retain a lot of your guard skills. Do you want to be more of a playmaker? And you see him trying to be more of a playmaker. You see the vision, man. So my question for you, AB, is, does he remind you of Denny a little bit as far as being that point forward, a guy who's, defensive minded? Because look, Kyshawn George can defend. I mean, he played well tonight. Adebayo is just bigger and stronger than he is, but he really put some effort in that. So do you see his fit as being a secondary ball handler and being a point forward?
No, definitely. I just want to say, but his defense, we talk about it a lot, is way ahead of schedule. I mean, a young guy with that much tenacity, we haven't really had a defensive dog like him. And then he's not the only guy on the roster, but just in general here in DC for a while. And it was kind of funny because we talk about Denny early on in his career with Scott Brooks. He was just a spot-up shooter. But then eventually when he got comfortable with the offense, was being a point general. So that's great to see. So I hope so. I don't want him to be so reliant on that jump shot. Obviously, if he's making it rain, let him cook. But if it's a night where that shot's not falling, you got to take it to the hole. And for Kyshawn, it is year 1. He's a rookie, so I'm hopefully he can learn from his mistakes. Because at one point, we were talking about putting him in the Capital City Go-Go, and honestly, I wouldn't be too upset about that because we've seen they produce star players and just to get his reps up. So it's going to be an interesting situation to see, but I'm not worried about it.
No, I'm not sweating, man. I'm not ready to panic because you see glimpses from all 3 players. You see glimpses with Blau. Now, I would say this about the Blau tonight, man. Blau is my guy. He already knows, man. Biku's my guy, man. But I wanted him to really step up the aggression tonight, especially with Jordan Poole being out of the lineup, man. I definitely expected Biku to show a lot more aggression and really take more of a central role, because like I said, he's definitely part of the foundation. He's going to be something. I'm trying to tell you, he's but performances like this really show you how raw he still is offensively, man. Over the course of the offseason, definitely want to see him get a higher trajectory on the shot. I say it all the time. Get some more spin on that shot, man. And I think he will put the work in, and I definitely expect, better play going into next year. I think you're definitely going to see a better player in the breakout campaign next year, but he's got work to do. And tonight, like I said, these are the moments where I want to see him kind of be more aggressive. And Bub stepped it up. Bub was aggressive. Chris Middleton, again, he's still got something left in the tank. Like he was really, as far as, offensive output, he led all the Wizards tonight. And as far as really trying to rally the guys, he's going to be good for this young squad, man. Like I said, you look at him, Rashawn Holmes and Marcus Smart, man. They're all 3 of them are on the contract to through the end of next year. So they're going to be around for a little bit, definitely mentoring, because like I said, AB, come on now, after year 3, that's where things start to get interesting. I mean, this is where it's going to get interesting when it comes to what your expectations are, as far as contracts, as far as potential moves. Things are going to get interesting, man. So like I said, let Will Dawkins cook, man, but he's still got a lot of cooking to do, let me tell you. So, but I think he will get it done. So, all right, everybody, again, the Wizards get burned by the Heat, 106-90 in South Beach. Kyshawn George did go down with an injury, but him and Rashawn Holmes did show some toughness, man. We know tonight Kyshawn George does not have a glass jaw. So, all right, let's get in the comments. But before we do, AB, tonight's episode is brought to you by OpenPhone. Running a small business means you're wearing a lot of hats. Your personal phone becomes your business phone. And before you know it, you're juggling customer calls day and night. As your team grows, it becomes impossible to manage everything with just your personal number. That's where OpenPhone comes in. It's the #1 business phone system designed to help keep your work and personal life separate. Come on now. For just $15 a month, the cost of a few coffees. Now, if you're looking at Starbucks, probably a lot more. But you get complete transparency and visibility in everything happening with your business phone number. OpenPhone works through an app on your phone or computer and integrates with tools like HubSpot and hundreds of others. It also uses AI-powered call transcripts and summaries, so you'll have a rundown of your calls and action items the second you hang up the phone. And if you miss a call, no problem. Automatic messages are sent directly to your customer, ensuring you never miss an opportunity to engage. So right now, OpenPhone is offering 20% off your first 6 months when you go to openphone.com/lockedonnba. That's OpenPhone.com/lockedonnba for 20% off your first 6 months. OpenPhone.com/lockedonnba. If you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no additional charge. Good Lord. All right, everybody, let's get back into this thing, man. So let's get in the comments and before we call this a night. And we're going to start with Locked on Law, my guy. And it says shooting 30% for the field. This ain't it, y'all. Middleton and Kispert are the only 2 players who can make a shot. It was ugly tonight, man. I'm with you. It was ugly tonight. He also says that Kyshawn and Bub are 9 for 28 from the field. Absolutely not. You cannot allow players to keep shooting when they're taking that many bad shots. And I'm with you on that, Locked on Law. I mean, you want to see aggression. You kind of want to go out there and let the young guys make those mistakes. So I'm not too upset. Now, you see this next year, I'm going to be a little upset because I definitely want to see some progression. But this is the time where you want to see them make those mistakes. Turnovers continue to be an issue. Another thing we didn't mention was defensive switches, man. Switching out defenders killed us tonight, AB. Killed us tonight, man. So you want to see the aggression, you want to see the mistakes, but but at what point do you kind of cut sling low, which is an Army term? If you're 1 for 7 for 3, maybe it's time to stop shooting those threes. So I'm with you on that. Let's see. W Mans has some feelings about Alex R. He says, I didn't even get a chance to watch the game, but hearing that we went scoreless for 8 minutes in the second quarter just shows me how lifeless this team is without Vucevic. Sar is a fraud. Woo! Choice words for Alex R. Now I'll say this, Alex R. I think he's going to be a really good player in this league. I think Vucevic is going to be a really good player. You definitely wanted to see more minutes with Vuk. But Alex R. has to show more touch around the basket, more aggression around the basket, and he's got to find a nice balance between his inside and outside game. You cannot be purely a perimeter guy when you're 7 foot tall. I'm just saying, but I think he will get there.
Safe to say W. Mans is the CEO of the Vucevic fan club.
I think so too, man. Like I said, I'm with him, man. I like Vucevic. I think he's the backup center of the future, man. And Alex R has ways to go. But like I said, I think both of them are going to be really good contributors for this team long term. W. Man says, I love Rashawn Holmes, but you have to understand that the Montrezl Harrell archetype is dying in the NBA. Absolutely. And it's so clearly time has run young guys their minutes. Yeah, I agree 100%. What do you think, AB?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, Montrezl Harrell, man, he was a dog here in DC. At one point, I think it was like an MVP candidate for that one year. The Wizards were like the #1 seed, but that's besides the point. Rashawn Holmes, obviously, we want to see Vucevic play, but also when it comes to that dog mentality, who's going to go out there and make an impact, you got to give the edge to Rashawn Holmes. He's shown it time and time and again. Even when a night like this with the Wizards, obviously, get blown out on the road, Rashawn Holmes is still there, putting up close to double-double numbers. And considering the fact that he is a vet and he has literally nothing to prove, he knows that he might not be here for the long term, but he's still going out there and balling out. I mean, I don't see why not. You got to give him the nod.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I agree 100%. W Man says, Brandon, can we schedule a personal meeting to talk 101 for 10 to 15 minutes or so? How can I get in touch? I'm all about chopping it up with people, man. So Hit me up in the DMs on X. I was about to say Twitter. Lord, I'm getting old. Let's see. Nomadic Brian says, what Locked On Law said? Good Lord. I agree. I mean, the shooting, just the shots were just not dropping. And like I said, a lot of them were high percentage shots. I will say that, especially in the paint, they were good looks. It's just they didn't drop, man. And it's like I said, you got to find a plan B, especially if I'll say this ain't B. In that first quarter, good Lord, in that first half, they just kept shooting threes. I mean, at what point do you bring the ball inside, drop it down low, man, to the bigs and try to collapse it, man. You saw that, at times with Chris Middleton where they would, slide it off to him, man, and he'll collapse and then dish out to an outside shooter. That's what I want to see. But I mean, one possession, you chalking up a three. I cannot see that anymore, man. Cannot see that anymore. Let's see. Sean D. Purnell, what's good? How you doing tonight? Way too many 3-point shot attempts. That's what I'm saying. And no rebounding. We have good mid-range shooters. Absolutely. Bub Carrington, man, he's money with that mid-range, man. Like I said, once he really figures out how to consistently attack the basket, he's going to be a heck of a two guard. Because like I said, you see that point guard, I think he's going to be a lot like JP13, right? He's going to be a combo guard where he can run the show, but he can also move with, go off ball. And like I said, the name of the game is versatility. So I have no problem with that. But I agree. The 3-point shot attempts has got to come down, man. I get it. This is a disease that the NBA has, man, where there's just 3-point shooting to a fault. But we got to find ways to be more of a balanced lineup, man. When you have the shot, take it. But at what point do you dish it inside? We have to be more balanced, my opinion. Dante Rogers says, we couldn't hit the sign of a barnyard with the beach ball. I can't argue with that one. Appreciate you, Dante. Sean D. Purnell also says, I agree. Sit Sar. Don't hurt him. Yeah, I mean, at what point do you sit him, man? And he also says, play Tristan. I agree 100%, man. Dante, man, he says, Joe Embiid is a human Band-Aid at this point. He ain't the only one, man. My fantasy team, one of my fantasy teams, I had 6 guys hurt tonight, man. And it's like, good Lord. I mean, injuries continue to be an issue this year, man. And some of them, are just, man, like Wembanyama, that's the hard one to stomach, man. I mean, because it's a blood clot, man. I mean, just, that's a tough one for a young player who, in my opinion, was a favorite for Defensive Player of the Year. Lock the Law says no one should have to tell an NBA player to have value possessions. Hey, fair enough. I agree 100%. 100%. Dante Rogers says coaches got to coach it better. Players got to play it better. Defense. I agree, man. The defense was abysmal. And like I said, Coach BK was irate, man. He's a guy who's going to dig in these players. But the players had to go out there and perform. And the defense, the perimeter defense, interior defense, I think will get better. But transition defense and slow switches off the, on defense to me are just, I can't tolerate that. I mean, transition, get down there and get set up. There's no reason why look, AB, there's a few times where one guy beat all 5 players down the court. And then the switches, man, make the switches faster. Because I told you, how do you defeat the Wizards defense? Fluid ball movement. That's all it takes. I mean, you see it every night. Fluid ball movement beats his defense, man. We have to make those switches switch off the, make these defenders switch off faster, man. Arya Paya, how you doing? Since we're starting 4 20-year-olds, these type of nights where the shot is just gone, what happened? Oh, absolutely. Look, I agree 100%. Like I said, this second half of the season is all about youth development. And you're going to see, like you just said, Arya, you got 4 20-year-olds. So you're going to see a lot of nights like this, man. So I agree 100%. I'm not ready to panic. Like I said, I'm in it to win it for rebuild. We still got another year of rebuild till we start, year 4 and 5, where we're looking to ramp up. Once you get in 6 and 7, we're looking to make some noise. So next year, you're going to see a similar year, but it's all about development. You need to see progression. So I'm with you on that. Let's see, man. Appreciate everybody rocking with us tonight, man. Rome Catalico, man, long time watcher and viewer. Lord, watcher and listener. All right. We beat Charlotte, no big deal against Miami. I agree, man. Charlotte, we're 4-0 against Charlotte because kind of tells you where Charlotte's at, right? But I feel like we had an opportunity tonight, AB, and we just did not capitalize, man. We did not capitalize tonight. Let's see. DC Onion says no defense, no shot making. That was a recipe for a disaster tonight, my bro. Let's see. Be cool. Yeah, was no show. A bunch of minutes, did nothing. Yeah, like I said, I'm a big believer in Be Cool, man. But I definitely wanted more from him tonight. So definitely expect Be Cool to step it up Wednesday at home against the Jazz. Let's see, guys. Rome Catalico is calling it. Oh Lord, 2020 said, I don't know, man. I love it. I love it, man. But Wizards Lakers 2027 NBA Finals. Ah, go ahead, AB. I know you want to say something.
I'll tell you one thing: the Lakers look amazing. They look like the best team in basketball right now. I mean, oh my goodness! For those of you that said, or some doubters saying that Luka Doncic wasn't going to figure it out, it only took him a couple of games, and it would be nice 2027. But yeah, I think if that were to happen, it would just be the Lakers. I don't know about the Wizards.
I'm with you on that, man. Now, 2027 is a little early. I love the optimism. I love it. My guy Roman Calico, man, love the optimism, man. You know, I wouldn't be mad. I mean, but I think it's gonna be a little too early. I think 2026, 2027 regular season, we could be a 500 playing team. I'm looking closer to 2030, where we really are a team that wants to challenge for a championship. If everything goes right, obviously we know a lot of boxes need to be checked. A lot of things need to be happening. I'm a believer in this front office and what these players can do, man, and what the process is here in DC. But like I said, I love the optimism, so I would not be mad at that. I'm just saying. DC Onion says, nah, B is SAR at the 4th, Vuk at the 5. I'm not upset with that either. I think that could definitely work, but there's some progress I need to see from SAR before I'm ready to pencil him in officially as a starting power forward. And especially if we're going to get to the next comment by Nomadic Brian. Wizards need that trip to Cooperstown. You pick up Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag can play the 4. Now, not to say that Alex Sarr could not be the 4. Okay. Bilal could go to the 2. You put Cooper Flag, look, he's versatile. He can play the small forward. So you can still see a scenario, especially if you add another 7-footer. You add Danny Wolf, man, then you probably, I have no problem with a tall lineup, man. It really echoes the Cleveland Cavaliers approach, man, where you have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. So not mad at that. Let's see. I'm just gonna put that there. I'm not gonna say
that is some type of comment, man.
That's wild, man. I locked the law. That's wild. Let's see. DC Onion says, "Be cool as a role player, not ever going to be a lead dog." No, he's not going to be the guy where you're going to say put the game on his shoulders. But I'll say this: he's going to be our top defender. He's going to be the guy who's going to say go out there and guard the best player on the other team. And I think the offense will come along, man. He's going to be the defense first player, man. So, I have hope he's going to figure it out offensively. He's a big work ethic guy. So, and you see the potential be cool, man. I mean, you see the potential. It's just consistency. All right, let's see. Oh man, messing up parlays tonight. Dante Rogers says my man Be Cool was on a milk cart tonight, shaking my head and messed up my parlay. Not his best night. So I definitely expect a lot more from my guy Be Cool, man. I definitely expect a lot more. Mental Edge, how you doing? It says glad that the game ended. They already took out 2 players. Wiz were like boys playing against grown men. Well, there's a big talent gap. I mean, Miami, yes, he lost Jimmy Butler, but Tyler Hero could play. Terry Rozier, again, is a Wizard killer, so he always plays tough. And Bam Adebayo, like I said, I'm gonna ask you, AB. This is just me going through my GM mode, but I mean, what do you make it as Miami Heat team? Do you see them adding or do they subtract?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird situation because again, Bam Adebayo he's up there, really good center in this league. But again, like at one point they were shopping Tyler Hero, and I don't know, to be honest. I actually don't know. Like this Heat team, I think they're like 2 games below 500. So I think this offseason they might just blow it up. I don't know because you lose Jimmy Butler and he was the main guy. He was the guy and quite frank, the Heat went on 2 finals runs in like 4 to 5 years, which is impressive. But they couldn't make it work because again, the Lakers and the Nuggets. So at the end of the day, I just feel like if you're the Miami Heat organization, I'd say blow it up because do you want to go in the future where you have Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and just you're playing or even first round exits? To me, it's just you got to figure it out and do what the Wizards do, blow it up.
Yeah, I mean, I like Bam Adebayo, man. He can play, but is he a guy you build around? No, he's a complementary piece. Same thing with Hero. At what point? I mean, I haven't seen their cap situations, but if they got cap room, maybe they try to make a run as far as grabbing a few guys in the offseason and see if they can build upon Hero and Adebayo. But like I said, at what point do you? I mean, like I said, it looks like they're building from the middle. Now, I'll say this: with their management, you're not ever really going to rebuild in Miami, man. I mean, Pat Riley is one of those guys where he's just, he's crafty. They're going to build. So, but like I said, to me, they're kind of a 50-50 team where I think they're 50% in it to try to be a contender, and then they're 50% in it just where they're just like, hey, we're just here. So, all right, guys, we're going to do one more comment, and we're going to call this a night. Let's see. Shook Biz One, man, you get the honors tonight. Shook Biz One says Sar looking better, still needs muscle. Yeah, he needs about 5 pounds, maybe 10 pounds of muscle, man, and he's got to find a nice touch around the rim. So, all right, everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say my
yeah.
bad. For the Joel Embiid news, I think he's out for the year. I think his time in Philadelphia is basically over. And I also think for those guys that said that at one point he was better than Nikola Jokic, I don't know how the heck like people said that. I got so much flack from people when I said Embiid was never and will never be better than Jokic. And to this day, I'm still smiling over because I'm sorry, like there's no way. Obviously, the skill is there, but we always go back to this saying: best ability is availability. And Joel Embiid, time and time and again, has shown that. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but at the end of the day, it's like if you're not out there, how can we critique you and say you're better than probably one of the greatest centers in NBA history?
I mean, Embiid, I'm gonna say this: he's a dirty player, and he's shown it time and time again. And is the talent there? Yeah, but yeah, I think he's done. I mean, in the Philadelphia, they're in a bad spot. So I'm gonna say that. But real quick, we're gonna call it a night, guys. But tomorrow we will be doing a mailbag episode. So after the show tonight, I'm gonna put it up on YouTube and on X, and we're gonna have a mailbag episode. So shoot us your best questions. We're gonna shoot you our best answers. So all right, guys, BScott, my guy AB, we're gonna call it a night. Hail to the Wizards and peace.